Their name appears on your phone, and your body changes before you answer. Your stomach tightens. Your breathing turns shallow. When you finally speak, your voice is softer, more careful. They have not said anything yet, and still you are already preparing for a change in tone, a moment of disapproval, a distance you may have to repair. Nothing looks wrong, but your body is already working. By the time the call ends, you feel exhausted, not because it lasted long, not because anything openly cruel happened. One part of you was listening. Another part was watching, adjusting, trying to keep the interaction steady. That is where the exhaustion begins. You are not only talking, you are monitoring yourself while you talk. But that answer opens a harder question. Why does your body believe this person requires so much protection? The feeling is real. Its meaning is not always obvious. So what exactly is your body noticing before your conscious mind can explain it? You remember what the conversation was about. Your body remembers what it required from you. A relative asks how you are doing. The honest answer is that you feel overwhelmed. Before you speak, another process begins. Will this become advice? Will they think I am ungrateful? Will I have to reassure them after telling the truth? So you smile and say that everything is fine. The answer takes 3 seconds. The calculation behind it may have started years ago. This is why a short phone call can leave you more depleted than an entire afternoon with someone around whom you can relax. The difference may not be how much you spoke. It may be how carefully you monitored yourself while speaking. You watched their tone. You adjusted your response. You hid irritation before it reached your face. You tried to prevent disappointment before anyone admitted feeling it. You were managing the emotional outcome of the interaction, not just participating in it. Sometimes the exchange itself is not what exhausts you. It is the constant internal effort required to keep the interaction steady. Jung's idea of the persona helps explain part of this. The persona is the social face through which you meet the world. It allows you to adapt, cooperate, and belong. But when belonging feels uncertain, the persona stops feeling flexible. It becomes a role you must maintain. Noticing the exhaustion is the easy part. Understanding what it means is where the real difficulty begins. The body rarely begins with a clear explanation. It begins with a small change. Your breathing becomes lighter. Your jaw tightens. Your voice rises slightly and becomes more careful. A woman receives a message from a friend. Can we talk later? Nothing in those words is openly threatening. Still, she writes a reply, deletes it, and changes it again. Of course. Is everything okay? Too anxious? Of course. What time works for you? Too cold? No problem. Just let me know. She sends it, then reads it again, as if the message contains evidence about whether she has been a good friend. Her exhaustion began before the call. It began while she was trying to become impossible to disappoint. Another woman sits across from her partner at dinner. She has an opinion about something small. Before she speaks, she checks his face. The movement lasts less than a second. Her body is reading the emotional weather before allowing her preference to exist. Sometimes the signal appears through explanation. You decline an invitation, then offer 5 reasons when one would have been enough. You describe the traffic, the schedule, the headache, and the unfinished work. You are not only communicating a decision, you are building a case for your right to make it. Then comes the feeling after you cancel. Guilt in the chest, relief in the stomach. 2 reactions appear because 2 parts of you are responding to different realities. One fears losing approval. The other is grateful that the performance has been postponed. After certain conversations, you replay ordinary sentences. Did I sound rude? Was I too much? Did I make them uncomfortable? The interaction has ended, but the monitoring continues. The body is not always reacting to one dramatic violation. Sometimes it is reacting to 100 small adjustments. Together, those adjustments reveal something important. You were not resting inside the relationship. You were managing your place within it. And once you notice that, a new question appears. Why does one relationship allow you to breathe while another makes honesty feel like a risk? Every relationship requires some adaptation. You do not speak to a close friend exactly as you speak during a professional meeting. The persona is not automatically false. It is the bridge between your inner world and the social world. It is meant to connect you. It was never meant to replace you. The problem begins when that bridge turns into a checkpoint. In a safe relationship, you can choose your words without feeling that one imperfect sentence could alter the bond. You can arrive tired. You can become quiet. You can disagree without preparing for punishment. Your social self remains flexible because the relationship does not require constant protection. A woman notices that she has two different voices. With one friend, she speaks slowly. She pauses without apologizing. She can admit that she feels confused. With another, her voice becomes brighter. She fills every silence. She arrives with reassurance and emotional energy she did not have before the meeting. She may call the second relationship intense. Her body may call it work. The body does not need supernatural access to another person's intentions. It responds to patterns. Warmth disappears after you disagree. A joke sounds affectionate but leaves a wound. Interest appears when you are useful and fades when you have needs. Uncertainty increases monitoring. Monitoring consumes energy. Emotional safety is not the absence of disagreement. It is the presence of repair. In a secure relationship, a misunderstanding can be named without one person surrendering. In an uncertain relationship, repair may depend almost entirely on you. You notice the distance. You begin the conversation. You soften every sentence. You accept more responsibility than belongs to you. From the outside, the relationship may look peaceful. Inside it, you may be doing most of the work required to create that peace. That is why the exhaustion can feel so confusing. The conversation looked ordinary. Your body had been negotiating the whole time. Sometimes your body learns the conditions of closeness before your conscious mind can name them. Stay easy and warmth continues. Need less and the atmosphere remains calm. Express resistance and something begins to shift. Over time, your body stops experiencing these as choices. It begins treating them as instructions for staying connected. That is where adaptation begins to become self-abandonment. The exhausting part of some relationships is not that you are pretending every moment. It is that certain parts of you seem to require permission before they can appear. With one friend, you become the woman who is always doing well. She may care about you, but her attention changes when your problems become complicated. She offers quick reassurance, shifts the subject, and seems relieved when you return to optimism. Before meeting her, you decide which version of your life is safe to bring. The rest stays home. In a family relationship, the conditions may be different. You speak about work, weather, and other people, but not money, your body, your relationship, or your decisions. You call it keeping the peace. But peace that depends on one person remaining partially absent is not rest. In a romantic relationship, the pattern may be harder to name. One evening, your partner is warm. The next, every answer is brief. You ask if something is wrong. They say no. The words say nothing changed. Your body is responding to the fact that something did. Should I ask again? Should I offer affection? Should I pretend not to notice? Your attention moves away from your own experience and toward restoring the emotional temperature of the relationship. The room may stay calm. You do not. These arrangements can be difficult to recognize because they appear to work. There may be few arguments. Other people may describe the relationship as close. What remains invisible is how much tension you absorb before it becomes visible. You translate sharpness into stress. You convert hurt into patience. You reduce your needs before they can become a problem. The relationship remains calm because you become the place where the tension goes. Soon, the role occupies time before, during, and after contact. Before, you prepare it. During, you maintain it. After, you examine whether it worked. Eventually, you may confuse the role with your identity. You call yourself calm when you are suppressing anger. Easygoing when you are afraid to ask. Independent when you learned that needs create distance. Understanding when you repeatedly explain away what hurts. The deepest exhaustion comes when belonging seems to depend on a carefully regulated version of you. At that point, your body is not only tired of the interaction, it is tired of helping you disappear. Once you see this pattern, certain questions become difficult to ignore. Around whom does your voice change? Who makes disagreement feel like a moral failure? Which meetings require hours of recovery? Whose name on your screen causes your body to prepare before your mind understands why? These questions can feel powerful because they change the meaning of exhaustion. You are no longer forced to assume that you are weak, antisocial, or ungrateful. The fatigue may contain information. But then something happens that complicates the entire picture. A woman meets someone who is consistent and respectful. This person listens. They do not mock her needs. They accept a small boundary without withdrawing. Their words and behavior match. Still, the woman feels tense. She rewrites messages. She expects disappointment. She becomes careful before anything has gone wrong. If she stops the investigation too early, she may decide that her body is warning her about a hidden danger. Or she may decide that the feeling has no meaning because the other person has done nothing wrong. Both conclusions move too quickly. The first turns sensation into certainty. The second turns uncertainty into self-abandonment. What if the body can be accurate about the presence of fear, but uncertain about where that fear began? Consider two women who feel the same tightness in their chest. The first is dating someone consistent. He respects her time. He does not punish her for saying no. One afternoon, he takes several hours to answer a message. Her chest tightens. She checks the phone repeatedly. By evening, she is certain he has lost interest. Nothing in his behavior has established that pattern. Silence once meant punishment in another relationship. Her body is reacting to a history the present person did not create. The second woman also experiences silence after a disagreement. But in her relationship, silence repeatedly continues until she apologizes, even when she has done nothing wrong. Warmth returns only after she abandons her position. Her chest tightens too. The physical sensation is similar. The pattern is not. This is where Jung's idea of an emotional complex becomes useful. A complex can be understood as a group of memories, emotions, and expectations that becomes activated when something in the present touches an older experience. When that happens, the present can feel larger than it is. A delayed reply can carry the weight of rejection. A neutral expression can feel like disapproval. An ordinary disagreement can activate the expectation of abandonment. This does not mean the reaction is false. It means the reaction may contain more than one time period. Your body does not respond only to the person in front of you. It also responds to what that person awakens. The persona can appear before anyone demands it. You meet someone who welcomes honesty, but you continue offering agreement. They ask what you want, and you say that anything is fine. They respond kindly to a boundary, but you spend the next hour expecting punishment. No one is forcing you into the old role. The role arrives because it wants protected connection. This does not make you responsible for every difficult relationship. People can behave inconsistently, punish honesty, and ignore boundaries. Your history does not excuse their behavior. At the same time, resemblance to your past does not prove that someone will repeat it. The reaction may be accurate. The explanation may still be wrong. The body should be listened to, but not treated like a courtroom. It can tell you that something deserves attention. It cannot always tell you where the feeling began or what another person intends. Your reaction is real. Your first explanation may still need investigation. The power is not in becoming instantly certain. The power is in observing long enough for the difference between memory and pattern to emerge. Relational vigilance often begins as intelligence, not always because a child lived in obvious danger. Sometimes because she discovered that a certain version of herself received more warmth. The helpful child was praised. The quiet child was easier to love. The mature child created less worry. The cheerful child protected everyone from discomfort. She learned that reading the room helped her belong. She noticed who was tired, who was disappointed, and which subject should be avoided. Adjusting became a way to preserve connection. Later, the role enters adult relationships as if it was simply her personality. She calls herself low maintenance, independent, someone who does not like conflict. Beneath those traits may be an older belief. If I become difficult, connection may change. A later relationship can strengthen the lesson. Affection is offered, then withdrawn. Small changes begin to predict real pain. Her attention becomes sharper because vigilance once protected her. The strategy survives because it worked. The problem is that the lesson may now be applied everywhere. A safe person can activate the old role. An unsafe person can benefit from it. Understanding the origin should create compassion, not passivity. You can appreciate why your body learned to protect you and still ask whether the protection is needed now. You can recognize an old wound without using it to explain away new disrespect. You can admit that a safe person activated fear without forcing yourself into closeness before trust has grown. What once helped you preserve connection may now prevent you from seeing where connection is actually safe. The goal is not to silence your protective responses. It is to stop allowing an automatic role to make every relational decision. A mature response has 3 movements. First, notice the sensation. My chest tightened. My voice changed. I felt relief when the interaction ended. Stay with what you know before deciding what it means. A sensation is real. Its interpretation is a hypothesis. Second, observe the pattern. Do the person's words and behavior match? Can you express a small preference without being punished? Can you disagree and remain connected? Does the tension decrease as the person becomes more consistent, or does your body keep responding to repeated unpredictability? Notice whether the reaction appears in one specific dynamic or across many relationships, including those with people who behave respectfully. Give more weight to consistency than to the intensity of one moment. A strong feeling deserves attention. A repeated pattern deserves action. A sensation is information. A pattern is evidence. They are not the same thing. Third, test the relationship with one honest boundary. Decline one invitation. Take time before answering. Express a mild disagreement. Share less until trust has had time to grow. Then observe what happens. A healthy person may feel disappointed, but they do not need to punish you for having limits. A less safe dynamic often becomes clearer when you stop performing the role that kept it comfortable. A boundary is not a verdict against someone's character. It is information expressed through action. You do not need anger to create distance. You do not need a diagnosis to protect your time. You do not need absolute certainty before respecting a recurring experience. At the same time, a fearful reaction does not require you to abandon someone who continues to behave with consistency and care. Trust can grow slowly. Your body can update through new experience. That update may feel uncomfortable at first. A person respects your no, but you still wait for anger. You state a preference, and part of you prepares to repair damage that never comes. You allow a silence to remain silent instead of rushing to fill it. Each consistent response gives your body new information. Safety is not proven in one perfect moment. It becomes believable through repetition. This is discernment. Not suspicion, not denial. Attention, pattern, and proportion. Return to the moment when the name appeared on your phone. Your body reacted before the conversation had even begun. Now the reaction has a different meaning. You do not immediately decide that you are too sensitive. You do not immediately decide that the other person is dangerous. You notice, something inside me expects this interaction to require protection. Then you become curious. Am I responding to inconsistency? Am I protecting an old expectation? Do I abandon part of myself to preserve this connection? In Jungian terms, individuation involves becoming more conscious of what moves within you, without letting it rule your choices. You can listen to your body without surrendering your judgment. You can notice tension without turning every person into a threat. You can allow trust to grow through consistency rather than forcing it before it has been earned. You can establish a limit without becoming cruel. You can remain warm without remaining available to every dynamic. There was probably a moment in this video when you recognized a relationship, an old pattern, or a version of yourself that appears around certain people. If that happened, write one word in the comments. Not what you think about the person, what your body feels around them. Tight, heavy, restless, small, silent. And subscribe if you want to continue exploring the psychology behind the patterns your body notices before your conscious mind can explain them. Listen to what your body notices. Let discernment decide what it means. You do not have to close your heart to stop abandoning yourself.